can we the people still pull it off? You know, the first three words of the Constitution, that noble notion that we the people are the ones actually in charge in this country? Van Jones, I believe, believes it's possible. He is the president of the Rebuild the Dream economic campaign, pioneer in human rights and clean energy economy, author of The Green Collar Economy, the former White House green jobs czar. RebuildTheDream.com is the website. Van Jones, welcome to the program.
Honored to be on the program with you, sir.
It is an honor to have you, sir. First of all, give us a snapshot, a recap of Rebuild the Dream.
Sure. Well, as you know, after I resigned from the White House, I spent about a year and a half. I was teaching at Princeton. I went all over the country, and I found the same thing that everybody else finds when you get out of Washington, D.C. Nobody is sitting around talking about the debt ceiling and how we need to cut everything in America. People are hurting. They're talking about jobs. They're talking about these young veterans coming home to nothing, to no jobs, to no support. They're talking about these kids graduating off a cliff into the worst economy since World War II. These kids are just hoping they get a 2-year unpaid internship now, leaving college. They're talking about their mortgages being underwater, and these banks that American taxpayers saved will not even return your phone call when you try to get a modification on your loan to keep your house. People are upset about the economy and jobs and opportunity, and Washington, D.C. is stuck on stupid, talking about how to add pain to pain as opposed to having some kind of tax on Wall Street or doing something to get some money back in this economy. And so we decided, I talked to the people at groups like MoveOn.org, some of the labor unions, the Center for Community Change, Campaign for America's Future, about 150 different groups. And I said, come on, folks. I am not mad that the right wing is so loud and obnoxious. That's their job. I'm mad that we're so quiet. The progressives have been too quiet. It's not that the right wing's been too loud. We've been too quiet. We are now in the third year of the worst economic crisis since World War II. We haven't had one march on Washington for jobs. We're sitting here letting them destroy the American dream. So we launched this new campaign. It's called RebuildTheDream.com. And the idea is just to get all of our groups that have been fighting individually these battles against the tuition hikes, against the foreclosures, against the attacks on Medicare, get us all to stand together under one banner. And that one banner is defend the American dream, rebuild the American dream. Don't let these dream killers destroy the American dream just because they don't want rich people to have to pay taxes. And this thing is taken off like wildfire. We put this website up. It really went live about 2 days ago. We asked the American people, do you have any ideas besides destroying this country and cutting everything that has made the middle class possible to make America better? We were hoping to get about 500 ideas. 10,000 ideas have already come flooding in. We've had 2.5 million efforts to rate and rank and evaluate these ideas. Next week, we're going to have House meetings all across America in almost every congressional district. We just announced a campaign 2 weeks ago. This thing is taking off, and I think the American people have had enough. 55% of Republicans say it's time to raise taxes on rich people. These people in D.C. are overreaching. It's our turn now.
Wow. Really well said. In the context of that, I want to dig a little deeper into what you're doing with Rebuild the Dream. But in the context of that, what's your take to throw this into the current news cycle on this administration, the president, and apparently some of the Democratic leadership saying, we'll slice up the American dream, 85% cuts to the American dream, 15% increase in tax on millionaires and billionaires, and the Republicans are saying, no, we're not even going to go for the 15% tax increase.
Well, listen, I have not read the most recent reports. I know there are all kind of reports coming out, a lot of rumors flying around Washington, D.C. I've learned in this town you got to investigate 4 or 5 times before you make a public comment about anything. So I'm going to reserve my judgment until I know exactly what's being said. I will say this. Washington, D.C. is completely off the rails now from the American people. Yeah. Listen, despite this massive, one-sided, lopsided propaganda offensive from Fox News, from the Tea Party, from the Koch brothers, I mean, it's a one-sided, lopsided propaganda war. It's not working. 65% of the American people say raise taxes on rich people. 55% of Republicans say raise taxes on rich people. Most people, the vast majority say, no, we don't care about the deficit reduction. We want jobs. We want jobs right now. The vast majority of Americans are saying wind these wars down more responsibly and bring the young people home and the money home. But D.C. is off the rails. Why? Because a small group of very loud people have gotten very good at pushing buttons in this town and getting people to jump to one tune, and we're drowning out and ignoring the vast majority of people who got more sense. Look, American families, when we have a financial crisis, we don't say, okay, let's just starve grandma. No, we say, we'll cut back on the non-essentials, and then Junior is going to go get a paper route so we can bring in some more revenues. That's how American families solve problems. Cut back on non-essentials, you bring in more revenues. America's government is taking a completely alien, ridiculous, ludicrous approach, completely alien to the character of the American people, cuts only. And we're going to not just cut fat, we're going to cut fat, muscle, bone, and marrow in this country, but we won't raise taxes 1 penny on the richest people ever born. That is wrong. It is immoral. It is un-American. And we are seeing people coming out of the woodworks now saying we are a better country than this.
Don't you think that it would be accurate to say that the problem that you identified of the Republicans and these loud voices, the billionaires basically, the Koch brothers and whatnot, who are promoting these libertarian ideas and these oligarchic ideas, really, that they're a symptom of a deeper problem. And that deeper problem is that, particularly over the last 40 years, but going back well over 100 years, 5 justices on the U.S. Supreme Court have ruled in a way that no Congress has ever proposed. No House, no Senate, no president has ever proposed. In fact, they have proposed against, with the Tillman Act in 1907 and others, McCain-Feingold, that corporations are people and that money is equal to speech. And that because of that, now these giant corporations and these very rich people have more power, more speech, and are going to continue to hack away at American democracy until we do something about that.
Well, I think you put your finger on something that's very important, but the conclusion that you came to is the most important. Right now, this has been a one-sided war against the middle class in this country, a one-sided war against working families and everybody who wants to become a part of the middle class. And there has not been a response. And until we don't know the extent of the damage that the Koch brothers and those people can do until we actually put up an opposition. Right now, all we're seeing is what happens when we sit down and look at TV and munch popcorn and say, what is the president going to do? Or why doesn't somebody do something? Well, the movement that I got inspired by was not a movement that said, yes, he can. It was a movement that said, yes, we can. And we've got to get back to the we now and quit, it's almost gotten to the point where we're so trembling in fear of the corporations, of Citizens United, or disappointed with the White House, that we forgot this is our country. And everything we got in the last, you talk about the past 100 years on the negative. Here's the positive. Despite some of the betrayals and some of the letdowns from the Supreme Court, look at what the American people did. We built a middle class in this country. We fought for it every step of the way, and that's the middle class they want to smash down. Yeah,
so well said. Van Jones, stick around. Can you stick around with us?
Oh, of course.
Okay, hang on the line here. We're talking with Van Jones. RebuildTheDream.com is the website. He's president of RebuildTheDream.com and gathering your information and your feedback. You can go over to that website right now and make suggestions, vote on, how do we rebuild the American dream? Glenn Beck went after you mercilessly. I mean, for the TV show that we do in the afternoon, we've got 4 monitors there in the work area where we're doing our show prep, and just day after day after day. I mean, it just blew my mind. And he went after me once on his TV show, and I got death threats in over the next week that outdid anything in the 9 years that I've been doing this radio show. I mean, it just blew my mind how ferocious it was and how and how vile and evil those death threats were. I mean, and as a result of just that one time him going after me just a couple of months ago on his TV show, we're still getting like, postcards. I know where you live kind of stuff, How did you deal with that? What was your experience of that?
Well, it was a tough experience, but I tell you what, you got to remember, I come out of a particular tradition in our country, which is the civil rights tradition. And as tough as it was, I mean, nobody wants to have some big bully making fun of you every day on television, saying lies about you, saying I signed a petition I never signed, and I'm a truther, and all these different things. And you put out a statement that says it's not true, and that gets completely blown away by what he can do every day.
Right.
But what you got to understand is, they used to put dogs on people like me, fire hoses. Dr. King, he didn't just have a bad, media day. He got killed.
Yeah.
And so for me, as tough as it was, and I won't underestimate it was tough. I was depressed. I was traumatized by the whole experience. But I had to look around at a certain point and say to myself, you know what? People all around the world have gone through a lot worse. And what we've got to be able to understand is this is what these bullies want. They want to be able to intimidate and silence people so nobody will stick up for America. Nobody will stand up for the American dream. Nobody will stand up for our labor unions that built the middle class. Nobody will stand up for the safety net. Why? Because we're scared somebody's going to say something bad about us on TV.
Right.
If we had that kind of cowardice in the 1900s, we still would have children working in factories, and women still wouldn't have the right to vote, and we still would have lesbians and gays in the closet. So we have to show some courage of our convictions and accept that, guess what, there will be people who will claim for themselves the right to lie to the American people, to distort. And the American people, though, over time have proven we're pretty smart folks. McCarthy's name is not a good name in America.
Joe McCarthy.
Joe McCarthy and Father McLaughlin and other people who've acted that way, those names do not stand the test of time, and I'm trying to be with the ones that do.
There you go. That's so brilliantly and eloquently said. Van, you are adopting a position with Rebuild the Dream that is very, very consistent with one that Thomas Jefferson took, which made him very unpopular with people like Alexander Hamilton, the conservatives of his day, who wanted more of an aristocracy. After the 1803 Marbury versus Madison decision, where the Supreme Court took onto themselves for the first time the power to strike down laws, Jefferson, who was president at the time, said, "The Constitution, on this hypothesis, is now a mere thing of wax in the hands of the judiciary, which they may twist and shape in any form that they please. It should be remembered as an axiom of eternal truth in politics that whatever power in any government is independent is absolute also. In theory only at first, but when the spirit of the people is up, in practice as fast as that relaxes." And then he here's where he nails it. And this is what you are doing, in my opinion. He says, independence can be trusted, and this is why he was so opposed to the Supreme Court taking that kind of power. He says, independence can be trusted nowhere but with the people in mass. They alone are inherently independent of all but moral law. You are, as Jefferson believed we all should, and we have so many times throughout these years, appealing to the people. Do I have that right?
Well, that's exactly right. And the great thing about having a movement for the American dream, and that's what rebuildthedream.com is all about, is that it is owned by the American people. The American dream, it's not a liberal idea, it's not a conservative idea, it's owned by the American people. And this, frankly, now is no longer a fight between liberals and conservatives. David Stockman, who is a hardcore Reaganite who designed...
He was his budget director.
Yeah, he was a budget director. He designed Reaganomics. He has come out and said that essentially, under these circumstances, the Gipper would raise taxes. Okay, so when you have when Reagan's architect of Reaganomics says that it is ridiculous to have tax increases, revenue increases for America's government off the table in a crisis like this, this is no longer about liberals versus conservatives. This is about corporate greed and the cheapest patriots who've just taken a wrecking ball and painted it red, white, and blue and are smashing down American institutions, and they're calling that patriotism. This is about deep patriotism that says we believe in liberty and justice for all. We believe we're one country. We believe that we're the kind of country where individuals can achieve their personal best, but we don't abandon each other in a crisis. We are a better country than that. This is the biggest crisis we've had since World War II. And we are 3 years into it, and the idea that the wealthy Americans who've done well in America should not do well by America in a crisis is completely antithetical to what this country has stood for. It's what made America great. The American century itself, the 20th century, it was a century where we stood together, we created a middle class, we created the weekend, we created equal rights. What is exceptional about America is what we built in the 20th century. These people want to repeal the 20th century. That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And we cannot stand by and let that happen. It does not matter now if you're a conservative, if you're a liberal, independent, you don't know. If you believe in America, if you believe in the American dream, if you understand why people all around the world to this day want their countries to be like ours, then it's time to stand up and defend our country from these cheap, so-called patriots, these cheap patriots that use patriotic slogans to conceal an agenda that's just about corporate greed.
You know, the metaphor I've always used is the word leader, first of all, doesn't appear in the Constitution. It's representative. And it's that our politicians, they're not really leaders. They're waiting for a parade. And if enough of us get together and form a parade and start marching down the street and making enough noise, politicians will jump in front of it with a flag going, hey, this is my parade. And, I mean, that's the story of FDR. That's the story, frankly, of everybody. You know, every major change movement in the history of this country. And it's got to be us, the people. And that's what you're doing.
And it's just as well. To your point, our greatest presidents, LBJ, he signed more laws I agree with than any president, but he didn't get out there and lead the civil rights movement. That was ordinary people who did that. FDR didn't walk out of the White House and go lead labor protests. That was the labor movement. Abraham Lincoln didn't lead the abolition movement. That was Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman and other people. Right. So you always have to have the independent movement of the people standing there for our best values, our best principles. Anybody, any individual person, politician, any party can get lost, can get confused, can get manipulated, can get scared, can get tired and make a mistake. But what happens is then the people, in our great wisdom, will begin to say, hold on a second. Now, what we had now for the first time is this one-sided propaganda offensive where one tiny part of America is just drowning out every other voice and accusing anybody who disagrees with their corporate agenda of being disloyal. This is unprecedented.
They've tried to redefine patriotism, to claim the flag as their own, while they're flipping their own stars upside down on the GOP logo. Don't get me started.
It doesn't get any weirder than that. But here's where the hope is. We now have the technology to push back. Don't forget, Barack Obama's movement, the movement for hope and change, seemed to just come out of nowhere. If you were Hillary Clinton, that came out of nowhere. Then the Tea Party just seemed to come out of nowhere. Then Egypt came out of nowhere. Then Madison came out of nowhere. This is not a left-wing period. It's not a right-wing period. This is a turbulent, volatile period where change can happen fast in any direction, and where people come together, that we use the technologies that we have. Rebuildthedream.com is an attempt to do this, and bring the wisdom forward. You can strike a chord, and you can strike a note, and literally 3 weeks later, if you're Hosni Mubarak, you go from being king of the world to you don't know where your address is.
Right.
So let's not underestimate the wisdom of the American people. We've done incredible acts of democratic achievement in this country with no Twitter, no Facebook, none of these tools. Now we're all walking around. We're linked to each other. We're connected to each other. Let's stand together and let's fight for the American dream.
You are such an eloquent spokesperson for the idea that we, the people, can actually take our country back. And it is such an important concept to get out there, and people need to stop sitting around waiting for somebody else to do it and go to rebuildthedream.com and become part of it. Van Jones, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, sir. Anytime.
Great talking with you.